Hey, welcome to How Do I Know You with your host Mark and Dwayne.
What up?
And today's topic is
Today's topic is...
oh shit, he died. I guess y'all never know what the topic is. He kept it up in their lock and key. Oh shit, he brought back down. He dropped back down.
The classic Simpsons episode. Is that the fucking monorail episode?
I think so.
Yeah.
Jumps out the window. If everybody knows, jumps out the window.
And then they say something like that.
Calms them down.
Yeah, agrees his like the fucking, or not agrees, but yeah, calms him down and he jumps back in.
Reverse stuff.
Yeah, he's like, ah! But anyway, today's topic is. So this week there was a big celebrity scandal, which really isn't a scandal. I guess someone unlocked the nigga's phone or something. Just felt like, oh wait, because this. I mean, I feel like we all knew this shit, but whatever. This week's big scandal was celebrities apparently are paying for their children to go to Ivy League and all these top colleges.
What?
Let's pause for dramatic effect.
Listen to that ambient noise.
And now, okay, so let's first question. Who gives a fuck? All right, you already know this shit is happening. Dear God, what? Man. When I saw the headline, I honestly was like, what'd they do? Like, I'm like, what did they do? Like, I don't get it. Like,
was this news? Like,
yeah, I'm like, is it a slow news day? I don't get. Like, do we really believe? And like, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, trannies, whatever, whoever's watching this, do you guys really believe that like all these actors, actresses, athletes, and stuff, like their pedigree and DNA is so fine, it's so like magical that all their kids and everything just end up going to these great schools because their parent is great or their mom is great, their dad is great, so now they have to be great too. Whatever. No, all right, I don't care. I've seen niggas who were geniuses, but their parents dumb as fuck, and I'm like, huh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's weird to me that this is like it's like shocking, like a thing. Like, you mean to tell me that they're paying to go to school? Yeah, that's kind of what we all do anyway. Like, I don't believe in this whole. Honestly, I feel like the only the obvious, like the only free rides, quote unquote, really are like sports and like academic scholarships.
Yeah.
I feel like everything else literally is people are paying their way into these schools. There's no such thing as like, no, I got great grades and I was able to just apply and no. Nah,
you gotta grease the wheels somewhere. Like, they know the power they have, so like, you can't catch all of them, so they're gonna take the risk.
I guess the first official question would be, do you think this will hinder the obvious scheme or program that these colleges and these recruiters have going on? Or do you think this is going to continue because people know now, which I feel like we already all knew? But
yeah, no, it's definitely going to continue. It's going to get way more secretive. It's going to be way more exclusive probably now until they could like build it up to a bigger clientele. But right. It's the same thing of a big time drug dealer getting caught. It's going to go down for a bit. It's going to be dry for a bit.
Free the boys, free all the homies.
But like eventually someone's going to take over. Someone's going to see the vacuum in the market and fill it. Pause.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it's just I saw something on Twitter that compared affirmative action to this. It was like, oh, everyone that was like upset about affirmative action, whatever, like that, you better keep the same energy from these people, like, because this was the real problem. Like, these were the kids like taking your spot, your deserved spot or whatever.
Right.
So I was just like, yeah, it's like this affirmative action. Affirmative action was basically the scapegoat for all these people that have been doing this for fucking decades, probably.
Right. And like, I've been thinking about this today and how deep this really does go. And obviously, it didn't like George W. Bush go to Yale or some shit like that, or Princeton or something, right?
But he's like a genius. You see the way he talks when he does like his speeches, like his old school president speeches.
Like
He's so smart.
I'm talking about W. Are you talking about the first one?
Oh,
Oh, okay. You're being facetious. Yeah. All right.
you know how I feel about that word.
I know that's what I
Say
said.
sarcastic.
Mark hates the word I can't even say it now.
Yeah.
Facetious. There you go. He hates that word for some
It's
reason.
like moist for most of y'all.
I don't
That's
understand.
how I feel about
I don't get the problem with moist either.
I don't see a problem with moist, but facetious is fucking
Facetious.
gross.
He doesn't like
It's
it.
disgusting.
But like, yeah, George W. Bush went to Yale or Princeton or some shit like that, and that nigga is like, he was quite dumb.
Yeah.
Quite dumb. And we all like saw this. So the way I started thinking about this today, I was like, this obviously goes deep when they have those whole things about, you hear in colleges about like the bloodline, or you know, the thing where like
Legacies.
Yeah, there you go. Legacies, where it's like, oh, there's been generations of blah blah blah. I'm like, no, there's been generations of yo daddy paying for your dumbass to get here, and then him being rich and successful, and then he paying for your dumbass to be in here, and the line just keeps going and going and going and going. So now it makes even more sense if we want to take this on a whole real cynical ass level of why the fucking J.P. Morgans and the Morgan Stanleys and all these fucking places hire the people that they hire. It's damn near from birth. They're already set up to just take all the stuff that people of color and people who aren't as fortunate have to work and work and work and work at. Instead, you got fucking Corey over here who was a dickhead all the way through high school and was doing stupid shit. But now Corey's daddy just happens to be a fucking Fortune 500 CEO. And he can pay for him to go to USC to fucking take some bitch-ass course that he probably won't pass. He's not going to pass it. But, you know, because, Corey's dad donates so much money to us, we can't fail him. He'll fucking fly through that, and then what do you know? And now Corey's now running whatever fucking company, Enron. There you go. That's why that shit tanked. See what I mean? Like,
It's like when you ever had that, when you have a job and you have that question about like, man, how did that guy get that job? How's that guy higher than me at this place?
we all thought that. Any job you work at now, you have to tolerate a dumb person, and you're like, how in the fuck?
Yeah.
This is probably hell. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm not gonna make this a whole thing on like kill Whitey, but cause niggas did it, niggas do it too, all right. And I'm not gonna get, you know, there's a section of niggas who've done this shit too, like, and I love fucking this. This is gonna hurt my heart or whatever. I love Dr. Dre. Like, that nigga really is one of my idols, right? Dr. Dre, which I still don't understand to this day, made this lavish ass music program and took it to USC, which his black ass did not go. None of his friends went.
So it wasn't set up in some kind of Compton high school?
It wasn't,
Compton College?
which he could have easily done.
Yeah.
Right? He put this lavish ass program that only these rich ass motherfuckers can basically obtain. I will never understand that, but I understand why. You know, if you're trying to build some sort of legacy or whatever, Dr. Dre's in fucking instant in now. Oh yeah, the music program fucking created by Andre Young or whatever. Yeah.
Who's Andre Young?
Oh God, you're his nephew. You're definitely getting in. Or, you know, like, what? At a point, like Diddy's kids, or one of Diddy's kids was playing football at UCLA, I believe UCLA, and like, you hear these stories about like because it was something back in the news a long time ago, like I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, where Diddy had threatened some coach with like a kettlebell for not playing his kid and everything like that. And for me, I was like, you do that shit at a college level? How insane are you? But then I thought about it, and
It's
I was
embarrassing.
right. Then I thought about it, and I was just like, it's probably because his kid isn't that good.
It's probably too because it's like, I paid so much money,
Right.
and now he's just sitting on the bench.
Right. His kid is not that good, right? And I'll be honest, never seen the kid play or whatever. He probably is good enough to be like a third or fourth stringer in college, right? But he is nowhere near like fucking starter material. Clearly, right? The only kid that I knew that was I believe Snoop's younger son. But that nigga quit. He didn't even want to play. You know what I mean? Which again lets me know I'm like, all right. Being recruited, was he really that good, or was it something where it was the name and then daddy pays some money and there you go?
Yep.
And it's funny because apparently, Big Boy from Outkast, he has two sons that are like super blue chip prospects, and they're getting recruited by all these colleges or whatever. I think they just signed to go to some school, I forgot or whatever, but they're actually good, right? Mm-hmm. You ain't heard shit. Like, you know what I mean? He hasn't had to do anything. Like, they actually had to go on fucking recruiting trips for them. It wasn't like some shit where it's like, you're going to play here. That's what I realized.
It was all set up.
Yeah, that's why I realized, like, a lot of this shit is set up because they'll end up just being like, oh, this person chose to go play at this school. And I'm like, who was recruiting him? Yeah. Who do we even know? Like, no, Big Boy's kids have been getting recruited, and they just chose to go to whatever school they're fucking going to, whatever, right? But this has been going on for years, centuries probably. I don't see the gasp about it. Like, I don't, for what?
Yeah. I mean, you pay all this money to go to these schools. Well, the parents pay all this money to go to the schools so that the kids could gain networking connections with the kids of their partners at their firms or whatever. So they start building a relationship. They do stupid shit with each other.
Yep.
They do the whole like secret society, fraternity shit.
Right.
So that later in life, it's basically blackmail for each other, saying like, if I go down, you go down. So we better fucking do all this dirty shit together to get all this money.
You better keep fucking me. I'm gonna everyone know. I'm gonna let everyone know. Can't even say that. I'm gonna let everyone know that you're fucking me. Yeah, crazy, right? That's how I'm gonna get you. Yeah, man. I just feel like there's like also things like fraternities too. I brought up. Those are things that, like you said, half of it is blackmail, but also half of it is what it's actually for, which is connections. So, like,
it's all about who you know. Like, you don't really have to know what you're doing, because I feel like a good majority of adults out there are just faking it.
Yeah,
like pretending to know what they're doing. So you combine the whole pretend to know what you're doing with the networking of like these high level execs.
Right,
you're set. As long as you don't do anything drastically stupid.
So the biggest names that are being like tossed around in this whole celebrity scandal is, let's see, the names are Felicity Huffman, who I believe is Aunt Becky from Full House, and Lori Loughlin. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either.
I mean, I believe it's William Macy's wife, but I don't know like what she was in or whatever.
I think on the radio I heard she's a Desperate Housewife or like one of those reality TV show people.
That bitch definitely is desperate. I tell you that, man. God damn. How stupid were their kids? No, but I find it funny that fucking Frank Gallagher is involved in this, where his whole character is he fucking hates school and everything that has to do with it. But this nigga was.
It'd be dope if he came out with a statement as Frank Gallagher.
Clearly, I didn't do this. But it's crazy to me how like they're using them as kind of the poster child for this or whatever. But also I feel like they're being the scapegoats. So I guess that's my next question would be: do you feel like celebrities are going to be used as scapegoats in this investigation or scandal?
Oh, definitely. They're definitely going to go after the high profile people first. Because they got so much to lose, those people are going to give up the information quick, fast.
It's such bullshit because it's like, on the one hand, that's awesome because I hope they do end up like spilling the beans, which they probably will. But on the other hand, it's bullshit because clearly, I don't think fucking Felicity Huffman was like the ringleader of this shit, being like, hey, Sarah wants to go where? Give me 10 days. She'll get that letter. Like, I don't think it was that shit or whatever, right? Like, I really legit think someone was like, oh, I can get your kid into fucking USC. How? Just talk to this dude, whatever. Give him a call. Tell him that you know me, whatever. She called him. They probably could discuss the price or discuss a donation to the school or whatever fucking program.
It's even before. It's even way before that. I heard in the morning they were like they would set up like fake facilities where you would take your SATs, or ACTs, whatever, all that shit.
And bomb them shits.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't even have to show up. Like you could hire someone else to take the test for you, or in advance know that who the test this is, and then they just change the score manually. So it goes.
This is
deep.
why it sucks, because part of this is a racial issue, because like you said, affirmative action and things like that, and people have like literally blamed minorities for years for the reasons why their kid couldn't go here and there, but now you know the real truth. But also, I want to make this like, I want to also get to the point where this is not a racial thing, it to some degrees, because of that type of shit, which you just said.
It's a racial thing just based on the fact that pretty much only white people were able to do this.
You can get away with it.
But that's the real reason is because it's a class issue.
Right.
It's like they were rich.
Right.
So once you get super rich, you have access
do
to
whatever
all this.
you want.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
You have access to all this.
And it's funny because there's always that saying like rich people like the rich get richer. Mm-hmm. And like most rich people, they only know other rich people. They don't know like a lot of broke people and everything like that. And I've started to figure that out even in my like own personal life, right? Because I realized that the more friends that I have that are doing shit and have money or whatever, the more like things I get brought up in and like opportunities I get like asked to do and everything like that. I have a friend who we're all thinking about, which I think I told you about too, which I want you to get in on too, but we're all thinking about fucking buying real estate and like buying like a laundromat and shit like that. And it's just because it's like, why not? We have the money, we have the credit, we can own this shit. Like, and we can do exactly what these people are doing, right? And there's a point to it where this is definitely classism, because pretty much it's like a secret society of rich people doing the shit, right? But it sucks because you want to tell your kids that, if you work really hard and try, you can get to these places. But then the reality comes into the like picture that money will always trump a lot of shit, which is wild to think about, because that's why it's sick if you really think about it, because they're setting their kids up to have these great lives that other people can't set their kids up for, because they have to work regular fucking jobs and lives and shit like that, right? So instead of helping other kids get to that point and everything like that, they're basically hoarding all the fucking jobs, the resources, the networking, which is what you're supposed to do, but they're hoarding it and then just leaving it to like their group of people, to where like that's why it sucks, because it's right on a level of like this is very like tactical and tactful. You know what I mean? Like this is what you're supposed to do. If this was, honestly, I'm gonna be dead ass honest. If this was like me and you and like a couple other people, we were doing the same shit or whatever, I don't think it'd be any different.
Nah.
Anyway, we'll openly do the same shit, right? Yeah. If I had a choice, or if I had the opportunity to. But it sucks because you are definitely taking away from a kid or a family that really does need
like
this situation.
That fucking kid that taught himself calculus at 5 years old or something.
And he's been just
and he grew up in like in a
grinding
tiny village or something.
Like something, man. Like, and he's just fucking grinding, trying to get to these places because he knows if I get to this school, it's gonna change my life, and then he can't get there.
Yeah,
and like
so that shit, like the world they come from it's just crazy different from us. Because even if let's say some person that really built themselves up, a really self-made billionaire, not like the Kylies where they were already rich. Like I don't know, whatever. Anyways, not the point. Real self-made billionaire.
You triggered, bro? You triggered, bro?
Man, I'm a little triggered, man.
You triggered, bro? Shout out to Jordan Woods.
Get her on TV show.
Is that her name? Jordan Woods?
Yeah.
I forgot after we had a whole episode about it. Damn. Just how quickly I forgot.
But let's say someone builds themselves up, gets as rich as all these people, right? If not richer. Mm-hmm. You still wouldn't fit in their crowd.
Nope.
You still would feel out of place, fucking just weird around all of them.
Yep.
Because growing up, like I had family like that. I had family that was like they're pretty rich. I don't really talk to them, but every time like I went to like the house parties and shit like that, I felt really out of place. Even though I got along with some of them, I felt crazy like I didn't belong there.
Right.
You know.
Should we ask the question, which is I guess is like the natural question from this? Do you see any actual like criminal repercussions for anybody in this situation?
Well, definitely for the two people right now, the two people you mentioned, Full House lady and William H. Macy's wife, I guess. Definitely for them, they're going to be the high profile ones. Anyone else that's high profile will get attention for it. But yeah, there's going to be some, just not as much as you want it to be. Like they're not going to take down everyone.
See,
Think about it like a drug ring. Like they're gonna let go the lower level people to get to the real top people.
but see, this is the thing where I'm talking about where I feel like in this situation there isn't going to be any criminal repercussions. What's going to happen is it's going to fucking die down probably next week or next couple of weeks, and then it's going to get talked about less and less, and then like deals will be made during that time period to get out of shit, right? Because the reason I feel like that is because yes, they're using Felicity Huffman, Lori Loughlin, or whatever. Why is her name Lori Loughlin if she's married to whatever? But they're using them two right now as like the fucking they're the headline grabbers, right?
Yeah.
But this is clearly a way bigger and deeper thing, and if this is being investigated, or this seems like this was already being investigated, which is why how they got caught or whatever. They already have information about way bigger people, right? But then at that point, here it goes back to the whole secret society stuff or whatever, right? This is not the Illuminati, but it kind of is like the Illuminati, right? So
The nerdy Illuminati.
yeah, the nerdy Illuminati, right? How if you just follow what we've been saying, how clearly this is like a thing where these people get their kids and other kids and friends in positions to take over these jobs that eventually that will come back and help them in the future, right? How exactly do we not know that there isn't someone, if this is like an FBI thing at the bureau that they already know, who's like, yeah, I'm gonna just fucking give
Well,
them this
not
shit.
even that. You could also fucking theorize that people high level in government like the FBI, high level military, they're pretty rich. They have kids. They're probably doing the same thing.
Same
so
legacy.
they're gonna
they're gonna
block
get
the
uncovered.
investigation.
Yeah, shit's gonna go awry.
I'm not saying all of you are,
Like
but definitely the high level people.
The thing about if you guys grew up in the LA area, but back in like the 90s into like the early 2000s, there was the whole Rampart scandal, and that was do you remember that? Mm-mm. That was pretty much the whole like LAPD was like under investigation for being super like corrupted or whatever, right?
Oh.
And they kind of made like hip hop a big focus of that, which didn't make any sense because LAPD was always corrupted, but they just started to tie in certain shit to certain issues to make it seem like, I don't know, they were influenced by this or whatever. It's like these people.
Hip-hop made me a criminal.
Yeah, so during that time, they were using like Death Row Records was like a big portion of the Rampart scandal thing because Suge Knight had cops
On the
payroll. And then, like, it got uncovered that some of them were Pyru, some of them grew up in the same neighborhoods, and so, and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But that investigation took forever. And I don't even think, like, it was ever, like, really, I don't even think there was, like, a heavy punishment or anything like that because of exactly what we're outlining now. Like, people were going to fucking do shit to make sure that the case or the whole thing got delayed and stalled as much as possible, or the obvious end goal, which was it didn't see the fucking light of day. So it could have been way bigger than what it ended up being, but like maybe like if they had like 100 people who were under investigation, maybe like probably like fucking 20 or 30 got like some sort of repercussion.
Right.
But it should have been all of them. You know what I mean? Like this is what I feel like this is gonna be. I feel like they're gonna like they're not even. I feel like they're gonna start like putting sanctions on schools and shit and doing all this other shit. But I don't think
a lot of theater.
Yeah,
a lot of theater.
I don't think they're gonna touch any of these people. Honestly.
Well, maybe not criminal like repercussions like going to jail or anything. They're definitely gonna get some kind of. They're definitely gonna get a fine, and they're gonna lose a lot of money because they're gonna have to be paying a lot of people off.
What do you think would be the best form of, I guess, punishment for this situation.
I mean, it's not like anyone got hurt. It'd be like mainly, I don't know, probation, some kind of like your kids can't. I don't know. That's the thing. This is very complicated. Like your kids can't go to school anymore. I don't know. Like your kids' degrees don't count anymore. Like they're revoked.
It's way too late
or something.
I feel like this is all hypothetical and theory and shit, but it'd be fucking hilarious and dope. I feel like they should make everyone who was a part of that, make them all give the money, however much they paid to get their kids in, turn around and give it to inner city schools, inner city like programs, colleges, fucking especially like JCs and shit like that, community colleges and all that. They should just make them pay all that shit, and then be like, you know what? Since you motherfuckers wanted to be all elitist, and I'm trying to monopolize fucking college, which is basically is one big ass monopoly. But since y'all want to try to do that shit, you know what? Fuck that. Now you're gonna take all this money, you're gonna give these other kids who don't have a chance. Now they don't have to fucking spend or try to spend the money to go to your shitty schools that they can get the same education at a fucking JC if you know better. Like they don't have to break their necks, if they have a 3.0 but they need a 3.5 to get into USC or whatever, they can go to fucking this school that's just as good, and now it has a program that matches USC's medical program or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they should do that.
It'd be cool. Like all the fines that they're paying, use that money to start a scholarship.
Exactly.
Or that, or however many kids they pay to get into these schools. Like for example, on Becky, if she did that for, I don't know how many kids she has. Let's say she has 4. If she did that for 4 kids, all over 4 kids, she did all this like illegal shit. She now has to bankroll 4 kids on a scholarship. So each person that did one, now they owe one to somebody that didn't get in, or someone that clearly deserves it but can't get in just based on money or something.
Yep, they get no choice who it is. Mm-hmm. They just get, hey, this is fucking whoever. They need this and this to get into this school.
Yeah.
You will provide that.
And you get no tax break from it.
Nothing. Like, you need to provide that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I feel like it's something to the level of, if we could definitely, that I feel like would work the best, but there's no way that's going to happen.
No, it's never going to happen because you can't enforce that shit. Like, it'd be too many.
But they definitely should enforce it. That's the thing. They definitely should enforce it, but there's no way that that's going to happen. Just because of the simple fact that then I feel like, damn, they're going to probably, there's going to be so many kids who are going to be going to these schools that that they didn't realize, because I feel like there's so much.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to be bragging about how, like, their famous parent or whatever,
There's so much that's going to be uncovered from this if they allow it. If they, like, really go through with it. I think this is backed by the FBI. I want to say this is an FBI investigation, so if it is, some shit's going to come out.
Probably just because it's across multiple state lines. Right. Like, it's not just one.
It's just a lot of fucking... Because I'm like, the FBI gets involved when, the poor-ass black kid who plays basketball has no money to fucking go eat lunch or dinner when he decides to get paid for a jersey. FBI is all up his ass talking about, how dare he? He had a fucking jersey ring. He was selling all these jerseys. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Fucking nigger. He gets all this free education and he uses it to his advantage? What?
Oh, man, that episode of South Park where they do the NCAA?
Yeah.
See that one?
Yeah.
They're basically like, he treated him like, basically Cartman played a old plantation slave master.
Right.
And he kept winking at like the coaches from the school saying like, oh yeah, of course not. No, we're paying them in education and blah, blah, blah. But they get all the money, man.
That's why because it goes deep, man. Because a lot of these athletes you see on these teams too, especially like I've always noticed this shit with basketball. Basketball is what I always notice it on, because I always find it funny when there's like a TC team like Duke or whatever, right? You'll have this great starting lineup, maybe like 1 or 2 kids off the bench who could be something in the NBA. Then you have like these really random, like 2 or 3 white kids that you never see suit up. And you're like, why are you on the team? Like, how'd you, like, because I'm thinking as like an actual coach, I'm like, I would want my whole, 11 players or whatever. How many there's on a basketball team or whatever? I think it's 11. I don't care about basketball. I'm a sports guy here. I don't care about basketball. So, hey, but you're black. Yeah, I get it.
It is true. You are black.
But like, I would want an actual functional like team. You know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, let this, this happens, this kid can take over, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
right?
you want everyone to be a starter,
right?
Yeah.
But you see these kids, and it's like that motherfucker's not going nowhere. Like you can tell, like this nigga's like, what the fuck?
Motherfucker's 4'4". How?
Why is he even here? And then I swear, they always put the camera on those kids too. Because anytime some cool shit happens, they always think of like the greatest celebrations and everything. They're doing all this other shit and everything. I'm like,
I hope that's like someone that knew. Like, he doesn't dare like, hey, point the camera at that guy.
Yeah, he definitely ain't playing. He's
like,
never playing.
Yeah.
His mama paid him to be on this fucking squad. God damn. Like, that's the type of stuff that I feel like is just insane about the whole situation, because there is a lot of things that haven't been uncovered yet that I feel like it's going to get deep. Mm-hmm. Because right now, they're just talking about academics right now, right? But clearly this is going to cross over into athletics. It's clearly going to cross over into, obviously, a lot of probably, which would be insane, but probably like medical programs and things like that. People who now have their like fucking doctorate and shit like that, who it's like, nah, I didn't pass these tests. I had to fucking pay to get in. But also, this does prove a point. This proves a really big point, which now we should just throw it out there. I think we asked this once in a previous podcast, I want to say, but let's ask it again. Is school necessary? And I want to say that, is school necessary when it comes to the lower ages of, the lower levels of school? So I'm talking about high school, middle school. Is that shit really necessary? When we now know that these kids who either were fucking C students or D students or probably fucking F students got to go to these great-ass colleges or whatever. And I'm pretty sure if they were worth this shit now, because their parents are paying for them, now they can't fuck up. So now they have to actually study. I'm pretty sure, I'll probably say probably like, 30-40% of those kids probably did actually study and probably pass the courses that they had to pass to get to whatever they had to get to now, right? Which brings to the fact, what I've always said about school, is it's something to where if you just give the kids the opportunity, they can apply themselves to anything and be that, instead of telling them that, oh no, your grades suck here, so you can't do this.
Yeah. Is the lower levels of schooling worth it? No, because most of the time they're only teaching you shit that they want taught.
Right.
Like they'll gloss over slavery like it happened like this because they don't want to talk about it. Like they don't want you to learn about the people that, like, unless they're like some kind of white person that invented something.
Right.
You're not going to learn about them. I remember learning in history, like, there was a timeline of the Europeans invented gunpowder and blah, 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 blah. And then they'll have a timeline right below it, but, like, the Chinese people invented all this stuff, like, hundreds of years before they even thought about that shit. So it's not worth it just because I think the things they're teaching you are just the stuff they want you to know that are not necessarily true.
So
like,
we're basically being programmed.
Yeah, we're basically programmed to believe in, like, some, I feel bad for white people because some white people, I've heard this from a white person, they legit thought that Egyptians were white. They thought they were like, Egyptians were white. I was like,
some dark ass white people.
Yeah. So it's like you're brainwashed into thinking that race is the end all be all. Like they were just
the master race.
Yeah,
all hail Fiora.
They were, every great time in history is because of them and all this shit. And I mean, look at the pictures in your textbook. Are the people from different countries, are they white, or are they actually the color that they are over there?
Fuck that. Here's the funny part. Open your textbook to the part where it lists all the fucking, like, authors and shit and, like, publishers and shit. Find one that's white. I guarantee you won't. like, look at the last names. You'll be like, oh, okay. like, this is the type of shit I'm talking about, where it's like, this is a joke. All right? This is all a joke. And it's always been a joke. And this is back in college, and Jay could vouch for this. I told our speech teacher, because we were talking about school and stuff. I told him my thoughts on school. Of course, me being the black kid, it was seen as so radical, right?
Right.
Oh God, But I told him that flat out, none of this shit matters. None of this shit matters whatsoever. And I said, you know, in my opinion, what would be a better solution for school is if colleges were all trade schools. They were all trade schools. If you wanted to be a doctor, pay this amount of fucking money, go to doctor school. You know, medical school. Go to medical school. If you wanted to be a fucking a basketball player, here. All right, these are all like all these schools have the top teams, whatever. If you can pay your way in and you think you're good enough, here. That would not only weed out the bullshit, which is people fucking around in school, because now you got to pay for this shit, right? Which is already school anyway. You got to pay, right? It's tuition. Of course, you still have the instances of the kids who, you know, if we're gonna keep the lower levels of schooling, you still have to have scholarships and shit like that. But it still works because those kids get to choose, or those kids are getting offers from those schools to come here.
Yeah.
Right? Be a part of our legacy or whatever, right? But it would be the easiest way to rectify everything, because not only do you fix, in my opinion, you could.
Wait, can I build off what you just said right now?
What?
What you were just saying right now, like what they should teach and everything in college should be all trade schools.
Right.
There should be some kind of class at every grade called adulting, which they have now. Like it was as a joke, they had it like a community college, but it was like basic life skills of like how do you do your taxes, how do you balance a checkbook if that was still a thing.
Right.
How do you do like it's not. How do you sew? How do you do like these things you should know as an adult, but for some reason no one's ever taught you, but people expect you to know it.
Yep.
You know, like why don't they teach that throughout school? Like history, I get it, like it's cool to know and everything like that, but is it really necessary to have in every single grade? Like when do you use that shit? It's cool to talk about. It's cool, like if you're interested, dope. Right. But is it necessary?
There's the thing about that, which I totally agree, but I've also realized that those classes exist, but it only exists to the people that we're talking about. The schools that they go to when they are younger teach them those type of skills.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the inner cities, I've been saying this for like the last 6 years or whatever, when I started to really get like in depth on credit. First of all, if you're watching this shit or whatever and you have like below like 600 credit score, turn this shit off. All right? I'm going to kill my own shit. All right? We're going to kill our own shit right now. Turn this shit off. Okay? Don't turn it off. Please.
Why is it still on?
Like, but turn this shit off and go fix your credit. All right?
It's not that hard.
That's the number one thing that they don't teach you, especially minorities, especially people who are come from lower classes, for a reason. Because the idea of it is very simple. The art of it, though, the actual like implementing the knowledge that you understand from like fucking obtaining credit, is the part that they fucking keep from you. So then you make dumbass decisions, which is like, you know, someone just offered you $2,000 of free money. Yeah, I'm gonna go spend that. Fuck it, whatever, right? Then comes the bill, and that $2,000 turned to fucking $2,600. And you're like, why? I only had $2,000 limit. Your interest rate was this or whatever, right? Now you're like, okay, all right, I can just make payments or whatever, right? But now you made that minimum payment of $100, whatever. But the interest on top of that only really made it like what, 50? And you still have and your balance still is going up. You're like, why? And everything like that. They don't teach you none of this shit. But I've seen so many people from like myself. It wasn't even from credit cards. For myself, it was from fucking an auto loan that I just thought made sense to me at the time, because it was like, hey, I get this car, whatever, I can pay for it, cool. But then looking back, I was like, holy shit, this was horrible. You know what I mean? Like, and now, like, I pride myself into like not getting fucked, all right, in these situations. It's fun to me or whatever, right? These are the things that you don't get taught, and it's like, why? Why? Because they want you to be in debt so they can fuck with you all your life, and you'll always owe something.
There's one thing that you taught me. When, let's say, something goes on your credit score, something goes on to collections, and you owe this stuff, and you know for a fact, like, wait, I don't think that belongs there. But if you pay it, you automatically agree that like you did what they said, and then there's like almost no fighting it. You just have to keep paying it, and then you have to wait 7 years for it to be off your report, and for like that not to affect your score anymore.
Yep.
I thought that was fucking crazy.
So for all you people who are like, when you get those little notices that you owe this, it's now going to collections or whatever, and all that cool shit or whatever, a lot of us panic. We're like, holy shit, I don't want to fuck up my credit. Let me pay this off so they can just stop, because I don't want to have a collection on my credit. Everything. Let me tell you something. You paid it. It does not go off as a collection. It's still a collection for 7 years. You just agreed to now paying it. You agreed to fault that you did it or whatever, and now you have to pay for it, right? Little tip, because no, this isn't like the credit podcast, which one day we'll do like a finance podcast or whatever, but little tip, you can actually dispute anything that you did, even if you did it, and get it removed. Like, this is what white people do, but they don't tell you, like, or whatever, right? I have friends who have admittedly like had auto loans, let that shit go super over, got the car repossessed, and then disputed it as if they didn't do it, and then got it removed. Like this is the sick shit I'm talking about, right?
Because like a lot of companies, depending on your loan, depending on what you owe, they're probably like, oh, it's not even worth it to fight it, because to fight it, we got to hire all these people.
And you're not going to get the money back.
Yeah, and they're not going to get the money. So they got to hire all these people. Like, basically, they're digging into the profits of what they would have made if you would just pay the money. So they won't fight.
But that doesn't mean go fucking do all this
shit.
shit.
Yeah, don't do all that. Like, be smart and everything.
That's type of stuff that these kids got a whole crash course on, which is why I just find it funny that those type of kids, they never had to go through what we went through.
Yeah.
But they're always lined up to be smarter than us because they've been taught the shit that you're really supposed to know.
Yep.
Which goes back to my whole theory on trade schools and everything like that. You want to be a fucking accountant? Go to accounting school. Like, you want... Like, I feel like the reason why we waste so much time, and I get it, because it's also a game that's also used so that these kids continue, and their parents, their rich-ass parents, continue to pay this fucking tuition money to these schools and shit.
Everyone's got to get paid.
The one thing that when we went to college that was the hardest when you start is figuring out what the fuck you want to do. Because at first it's like, all right, I'm going to try my passions. But like one of my biggest passions is music. There isn't a lot of like programs like that at school, right? So you have to then start to realize, all right, I'm going to have to do that on my own. Okay, what's the next thing I like? I like business. I'm going to try business. You try that shit, it's cool. And then you're like, I'm kind of bored. Fuck, what do I want to do and everything like that. And you keep going through this shit. And most kids don't find out what they want to do. What happens is they keep fucking trying shit. Eventually, now they have to pay bills. Now they have money. I mean, now they need money, so they go fucking get some lame job or try to get some decent job. Now they have that job. Now they're making money. So then, of course, they start to do a little extra shit, fucking with girls, whatever. And then, you fall in love. You try to marry a chick or whatever. Now you got to pay for shit. So now you don't have time for school anymore. I have to work at this job. If I keep working here, I can move up and make enough money to take care of us. Now you're stuck in a whole fucking cycle that you could have avoided if you just would have had something that told you, like, hey, you can do all this shit or whatever, but it's going to cost you. So whatever you want to do, you have to pay for it, so apply yourself. That's why I feel like trade schools work so well right now, like at least the ones that are like fucking decent and functional. Because literally, you're banking on yourself at a trade school. You're paying for this shit.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day,
and
it's
you
like...
work harder.
Exactly. Like, you want your fucking 2 to 4 to 6, whatever, however much money to go in the shitter. Because you want it to be your fault. Which is still crazy because my girl goes to a trade school right now. She's trying to become a medical assistant. There are still people in her class that still actively are, like, lazy and fuck up. And I'm like, how the fuck you fuck up?
Most kids aren't clearly paying for their own education.
But even if they are or aren't, right? I'm still like, how? I wouldn't allow myself to fuck up like $4,000 to $6,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And you openly like let them keep like get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? To some
people that's nothing though. To some people that might as well be a quarter. Like a fucking quarter toss or whatever. On top of what you were saying though, like think about all the classes that you're required to take to get that paper, that degree. Yeah. You have to take history, you have to take math, you have to take English. For what? Like I want to do this other thing. Like I want to go into some kind of talent or whatever, like a theater kid. I don't know, something that like, why do you need to learn this type of English? You should learn the English for that subject or math for that subject or whatever. But why do you got to take this other shit that's not related to the things you want to do?
Because it's all fucking deterrence. It's all the deterrence. Little fucking, little basic. If this was a video game, it's little bosses that you have to try to overcome to keep going to where you want to go. That's all it is. That's what happens to it. Because I want someone to fucking like, which I'm pretty sure they have, a survey of like how many kids have dropped out of school or like quit their major, not even because it was a core class in their major. If it was a fucking prereq or some bullshit where it's like I have to take fucking calculus. I don't even like it's not even like required in this shit. Why do I have to take it? Exactly. Whatever. And then they fucking can't pass and fail, and then they're like, fuck it, I'm done.
So you could legit like that, and then like you pay per unit, right? So the college makes more money for taking those unnecessary classes. Right. On top of that, like, let's say you become an expert in the field that you want to be in. I'll do me for example. I did a lot of film classes in college. I could have taken every single one, gotten like the top scores. I didn't, but I could have gotten the top scores, but I still couldn't have like proven it with a degree because fuck, I couldn't pass this math class, or shit, I forgot to take this history class. Yep. So what's the point?
You're a standout in your fucking field, at least in that program, but it doesn't mean anything because you didn't pass fucking what was a class that was some bullshit that I took. I think it was like drama writing or something. I passed it, but it was some bullshit. Like, it was so stupid. Like, you just had to basically write stories. Yeah. So what you had to do for what? For what?
Great if that's what you want to do, but for the people that don't, and it's why is this required? It's the thing, like have those classes, yeah, but don't make it required to get your degree.
They gonna take this shit down. They gonna be like, "Oh, these niggas talking too much sense."
They know. How do they know?
Get a master. Master, no. I needs to go to this school. That's why it's all bullshit. At the end of the day, it's all bullshit, and I feel like people, because a lot of, especially today's generation, are followers. Mm-hmm. They just go along with it, and they're like, no, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, this makes sense. Whatever. I have a friend who's been in college since fucking we all started together. He's still in college. I don't even know why at this point.
I will just to not pile on, just sound like this completely one-sided. I will say,
no, fuck that.
Never mind.
It's one-sided.
One-sided like that Leaving Neverland doc.
Super one-sided. God damn. You know, I mean, he probably did that shit, but whatever.
Yeah, probably. But you got to balance it.
You got to balance it
if you want everyone to believe you.
All right.
To not make this one-sided, I will say if you don't know what you want to do, community college is a good place to start, just to be like, hey, like to take these classes or whatever, like that. Those classes that are required, go ahead and take them, and you might learn something like, oh shit, I didn't know about this shit in history. Oh, I didn't know this shit in English. I didn't know these books that I would have never picked up, but like the professor made it part of her or his requirement. Right. Like I learned a shitload about like the food industry, like all the slaughterhouses and like how fast food does everything and shit like that. It blew my mind. I was like, oh, this is dope. But at that time, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so it was just cool to learn shit. Like, you remember that when we were kids in Jane Addams, when if you read a certain amount or you did something, you would get like these Pizza Hut coupons. Yeah. That was all a ploy from Pizza Hut to get more business. Basically, like, oh, they would like if we give these tickets to these kids,
they'll try the pizza, they'll like the pizza, and then turn around to more profit.
Keep eating it, yeah. Like the parents would order a real pizza, and then like they just give the tiny pizza to the kid. It's all just business and make money. I was just like, oh shit, I totally fell for that, and I would again
because it was delicious.
If you want to sponsor us, Pizza Hut,
we're out here, baby. Also, all you JCs out there, hey, this is your ad space right here
for real.
For your fucking community college
just
or whatever.
Quit upping the tuition every fucking semester.
All right, stop that.
God, we go there because we can't afford a fucking real college.
it ends right there. No, fucking
sad music.
A graphic comes up. USC. We told y'all niggas, y'all need us more than we need you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, fucking college or community college was like a awesome part of my life, and not to mention, I guess, especially if you're like coming fresh out of high school, or whatever, it's like an awesome, like, I won't even say like training camp, because it really is like it's the same thing as college. I don't see any difference to it. It is college, right? But it's like it's an awesome like buffer between like being a kid and adulthood. Because that's what it was for me. Because I mean, going through high school and stuff, of course you think you all grown and shit and everything. You're like, yeah, I'm a senior nigga, all this shit. But nah, in college, like it really is like you just rely on yourself. You rely on yourself. Probably your group of friends that go to school with you, hopefully, or whatever friends you make. You just rely on yourself. There is no like no teachers telling you like, hey guys, quiz tomorrow. There might be like one thing. Fuck that. In the syllabus or whatever, they'll tell you like all the dates that they're gonna be tests, but they won't bring that shit up again or whatever. They might say like, oh, there's a test tomorrow. Here's a quick little fucking study guide. Study it. That's it. That's the class. There is no like, all right, let's go over it step by step, question by question. I had teachers who would be like, all right, study guide. No, they'll do a whole section of a chapter that had nothing to do with the test, and then tell you at the end of the class, here's a study guide for the test. Go home and fucking study that shit, right? Again, they're making you self-reliant on yourself.
Yep.
All right, which is awesome. Not to mention, again, socially, it's also cool because now you're being with a whole bunch of different people who are different ages. Now you're not stuck in the same, place with the people who are all the same ages, which was like, freshman, sophomore, junior, and shit. Now you're 18 sitting with a kid who's 24. You're like, holy shit, this kid's annoying. Like, or you're with a girl who's 19 and you're 24 and like, damn, she's so mature. I would fuck the life out. I mean,
Education.
Education. Yeah.
I remember we had a class where the teacher would straight up give us everything he would present. He would just give us in a packet. Like, we didn't have to take no notes.
Nope.
He just wanted us to listen and like learn.
Yeah.
And then during test time, you could use all that stuff. You could write whatever you want and use all of it. It was basically like, use your brains.
Yeah.
Use your brains to pass. Like,
that was it. Which I love teachers like that because, again, it makes you self-reliant. He's pretty much saying, like, you're going to pass this if you just pay attention. Mm-hmm. You choose not to pay attention, then I can't help you.
And
period.
I won't.
Like, yeah, and I won't.
Like,
so it's all... I'm not saying college is, like, useless or it's a bad thing. I'm trying to say that what's been going on with school is bad, all right? And it's something that is a complete fucking, like, it's a system.
I want to say it's recent, and that's only because I can't really... I don't know the stats of, like, before we started going to college.
Right.
But I've been seeing a lot of stuff, like, back in the 70s, you could have a part-time job and still pay for...
Tuition?
Yeah, you could still pay your tuition to, like, community college or something.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be no stress, no problem.
Right.
Which is why a lot of people did that back then. But now, like, in no state... I read this the other day. In no state across America... can minimum wage pay for like a 2-bedroom apartment? Nowhere. Like, you have to have a job and a half or like 2 jobs just to afford like maybe a studio or something.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Like,
again, goes back to the whole... Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying like then like for those people, like, does college really matter, or does making this money so they have a place to live?
That's the whole scheme of it.
So while they're setting up the Aunt Becky's and the other one, damn, I don't know her name.
Lori Loughlin.
While they're setting up those people and their kids to like succeed, on the other side, they're setting up you guys or whoever, I don't know who you are, but they're setting up you guys to fail and like struggle paycheck to paycheck for life.
They're also setting you up, if you want to be, again, even more cynical, the people who can go to these schools get the great jobs, great lives. People who can't, hey, we need people to work at McDonald's. We got to fill these fucking places. I don't care. All right.
And soon that'll be over, dude.
Yeah.
Soon those robot restaurants.
Man. Trying to tell y'all, pick up a book or something. Learn fucking how to do something. Learn a skill. Learn a skill. Make yourself very useful.
Become invaluable.
If I could give advice to kids today...
Sorry, that's the word I wanted to. Irreplaceable, not invaluable.
You're irreplaceable. If I could give advice to kids today, I'd be like, when you get to college, find your passion. Or for whatever you want to do, try that first. Or whatever, right? If the shit stalls or it doesn't work, then you need to research what the fuck is popular amongst the job field and go after that.
Like plumbers or like AC technicians.
All that shit.
Dude,
right?
and when you go after your passion, put your fucking all into it. Like, fucking all of it. Because if me and him right here had started this when we started college,
we'd
really fucking just kept with it and
y'all be watching this on TV right now.
Hell yeah. There would be no Adidas and.
I was about to say a lot of the
It'd be
stuff
us.
that you see today, we were doing back when like shit was like no one cared.
Yeah.
About no one wanted to hear. Like we would have marathon conversations in either his garage or Jay's garage or my fucking bedroom or whatever about the stupidest shit. But we would go in depth about the dumbest shit. Just happen to fast forward. That's a podcast.
Yep.
You know, there's things that we did, like we started doing skits and shit like that before, like it was like super popular and everything like that. Now everyone does it and everything. Like there's so much shit that we wish that we just had the foresight to be like, man.
Yeah, like don't let years pass and be like see something on YouTube or TV and be like, damn, I had that idea.
Yep.
When I was a kid, like, damn, I had that idea a couple years ago. Shit.
Yep.
You know.
To happen. So then whatever your passion is, of course, I'm not saying don't try it. Try that shit, like you said. Try it with all your heart, but also be a realist. You got to pay the bills, man. So if you're gonna pay the bills, make it something that if you do have to get paid for it, you get paid a fucking shitload. You don't care. That's the key to it. All right, money is the key to everything. Money and God. Okay, simple as that.
For me, it's just money. And I will say too, on that end too, once you get that job, like that reliable job,
Fuck every girl in the. I don't care if she got a nigga, a bitch nigga. Fuck them all. All right.
you see a hole, fill it.
Like right now, that's your job. Be useful. Be irreplaceable. Don't you get it?
Why does that guy work here? He throws the best dick around. Why? It's just amazing. Casual break room conversation.
His nickname's Daddy Dick. Hey, DD. Like, that's what that stands for? Oh my God, I've been calling that forever. He hasn't even fucked. I mean, oh.
Wait, what's wrong with me that he hasn't fucked me?
Oh.
Oh.
She gets fired.
Sad music.
We don't need any more whiny bitches. I'm sorry. DD's getting kind of annoyed. He keeps the fucking morale here.
Runs the company out of.
He keeps the morale so high. We have to pay him so much.
No, what I was gonna say, companies don't give a shit about you.
Nope.
They will replace you like that. So get everything you can out of what you're working at, and then either move on or move up.
Yep. Get the experience, get the connections, get all that shit. Fucking figure out everything you can, and then always, unless you want to make that shit your career, always fucking try to move.
Yeah.
All right. Never stay stagnant or anything. Always try to grow. Always try to build or whatever. Because as soon as you get comfortable, it's when everything stops.
Yeah. Unless you're happy. I mean, if you're happy, then fucking do
fucking
you.
More power to you.
But yeah, like in companies, they will guilt trip you. Like fucking, it's a weird thing. Like they'll guilt trip you like a parent would or something. But it's just like. You would fire me if it was like the other way around or something so.
When I'm invested, I will let them think that I fall for the guilt trips, and it's honestly just because I'm like I need leverage from you guys when I need my time to bounce or whatever, or I need something. But I am the worst when it comes to like I'm leaving a place. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't want any like party. Don't give me a party. I don't care. Whatever. Don't do nice shit for me. Don't be like, oh, are you sure? I'm sure. I'm out of here. Fuck you. All right,
yeah, and you got to learn that people at work, they're not really your friends. They're just work friends, if anything.
Right.
Like they're cool there, but they will step over you, like if it means something good for them.
If they have to.
Yeah.
No, you might have a couple who will be cool, but it's always few and far between.
Yeah, I'd be very cautious.
Right. But I think we about covered that shit. Yeah. Let's hit these plugs on these hoes.
You can find us on YouTube. How do I know you? You can search for us easier on YouTube. #HDIKY. I finally learned it.
There you go. Mark's coming up. I had a fucking eyelash in my eye this whole podcast.
But I did it for you guys.
No, see what I'm saying? Because I was dedicated.
Please subscribe to us. Hit that bell icon to know when we release shit. You could
join the notification squad. Ooh. I learned that shit too on YouTube.
Smash that like button.
Smash it. Hey, if you guys want a free shirt at 35 minutes, just tag comment and say gang gang. I'm like, they do the most for a fucking view.
They make sure you go to that fucking.
They make sure that we need our time retention to go up. Let's make it.
You can find us on our Instagram, HDIKY.
HD?
Dang, what did I say?
Fucking. Did you say HT or HD?
HD.
Okay, I thought you said HT.
I knows.
Uh,
You could same for our Twitter. How do I know you? My personal one at I am Mark.
and my personal one at DC Junior 13. But like we always say, if I don't know, and you don't know,
Who really knows?
and how do I know you? And that was the timer. Look at that shit.
You
Right on the fucking dot, nigga.
Professional as fuck.
Nigga. See what we do? Nigga.
Just stop it.
Yeah.
Just